Hey everyone, it's Laura Armstrong, former nurse and now a full-on health and wellness junkie. I'm here to share a personal story that is close to my heart. Today I want to talk about the experience I've had with high blood pressure since hitting menopause and the natural steps I've taken to get it under control, with some pretty amazing results, I must say. So grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, and let's dive in. But before we get started into my story, I just want to let you know that, did you know that nearly 90% of us still will deal with high blood pressure or hypertension at some point in our lives? That's a jaw-dropping statistic, and it's no wonder they call it the silent killer. It can sneak up on you, and trust me, it got me totally by surprise. And just to give you an idea, for most of my life, through my 20s, my 30s, and my 40s, my blood pressure was excellent, like fantastic, actually. It was often on the low side, having around 108/68, and sometimes lower, and within that range for sure. And I was that person that when I went to the doctors, I got a gold star because my blood pressure was so awesome and my vitals were great. But just last year, when my mom moved in with her heart condition, I started checking her blood pressure regularly. And just out of curiosity, I thought I started to check mine as well. And lo and behold, at age 56, my blood pressure was hovering around 140/88, 140/90, sometimes even higher. I nearly fell over. Me with high blood pressure, it didn't add up. I've always been active, I've stayed in shape, and I watched what I eat. Fast food, rarely. Alcohol, minimal. I do intermittent fasting. I do a strong keto diet. I may not have exercised as much as I have after 40 years old, but I'm definitely moving and still active. So what the heck is going on? It wasn't until last year, when my blood pressure was out of the roof and skyrocketed, that I connected the dots. So what do I mean by that? Well, I hit menopause. Yep, that hormonal roller coaster that hits us in our 50s that can mess with more than just your mood swings and hot flashes. Turns out that the drop in estrogen during menopause can make our blood vessels less flexible and a bit stiffer, which can make our blood pressure go up. Who knew? Not me, until I started digging in deeper, partly thanks to caring for my mom and partly because I didn't want to accept the fact that that new number of my blood pressure would be my normal. That was not acceptable. So with that being said, considering that there was hypertensive, I looked into the usual suspects like ACE inhibitor and angiotensin, like ARBs, which are angiotensin receptor blockers, which are common in managing hypertension. They definitely have long-term side effects, so yikes, I wasn't ready to go the pharmaceutical route in any manner. I just wanted to try natural approaches first, and let me tell you, the answers were right in front of me. But before I go and spill the beans on what worked for me, let's do a quick blood pressure 101 for anyone who's not sure what those numbers mean. High blood pressure over time can damage blood vessels, and it's no small deal. Nearly 50% of heart attacks and strokes are linked to it. So what's a healthy target range? The newer guidelines are suggesting that your blood pressure should be around 130/80. And anything lower than that, of course, is going to be fantastic. There's a sprint trial that was done, the link is in my description, that showed that getting your blood pressure down to 120/80 can cut your risk of heart attack or stroke by 25% and lower your risk of death by 27%. That is huge. But again, heads up, we don't want your super low blood pressure can also cause side effects with dizziness. And so you definitely want to work with a healthcare practitioner or someone that definitely can work with you on your blood pressure to make sure there's a sweet spot that you want to stay in. So 6 months ago, my blood pressure was hitting scary, crazy heights, like crazy. Like I was getting 140, 142/88, 90. I thought, oh my gosh, because my normal is about 106/68. My pulse is running around 62 to 64. And so everything seemed normal. I felt healthy, good, everything. So I was determined to turn things around naturally. And I'm thrilled to share that my numbers are now about 118/76. And pulse is good, no problems with that. So the first thing I did is what was called the DASH diet, and doctors use that. It's an acronym, which is all about whole foods, lean proteins, healthy fats, and tons of fruits and veggies. I gave it my own spin with a modified keto approach. Kind of like think of high quality proteins, nutrient packed fats, and a big pile of greens. And again, just a touch of fruits. We just want to keep those natural sugars in check as well. So with that, it's been a game changer for me. And just a quick tip, if you guys do want any of the recipes that I use and continue to use, by all means, just put a comment below and I'll definitely share that with you. The next thing that I did was I slashed any sodium that was not necessary. But again, I don't use a lot of table salt in my foods, so that's not the big issue. The big issue was ensuring that I got rid of all processed foods. So fast foods, processed foods, and restaurant foods. My family's all in, so we cook all our meals at home. My kids have become mini chefs with whipping up healthy dishes. And when we're out or we're going somewhere, we definitely always pack healthy meals and snacks just to stay in control. Bonus with that, by packing your own meals, is you know what goes in your food, and more importantly, it's awesome on the pocketbook and blood vessels. Third thing I did was I focused on loading up on potassium-rich foods. I started eating more potassium-packed foods like bananas, oranges, sweet potatoes, beans, and spinach to balance out the sodium and potassium. But again, keeping in mind that my mom is living with me and continues to live with us, she has a heart condition. She's a type 2 diabetic, so I have to be extra careful with her potassium intake to protect her kidneys. So again, if you are fine with no kidney issues, potassium is awesome. But again, if someone's dealing with kidney issues, you do have to be careful with the potassium intake. In my case, it was awesome. So if you have any questions about that, again, just leave a comment below and I'll definitely get back to you on any questions that you may have. I added holistic supplements for heart health. And I started incorporating some powerhouse supplements to support my heart and overall health. I love CoQ10, ubiquinol, the active form for CoQ10. I take grapeseed extract. I take hawthorn, which again, high blood pressure, we want to worry about cholesterol as well. Hawthorn does a fantastic job working with cholesterol and eliminating any issues relative to potential high cholesterol levels. And there's also a supplement called nitric oxide, which also helps with blood pressure as well. And of course, garlic supplements. So those are all supplements that I'm taking along with vitamin D and vitamin K2 to get that calcium out of my blood vessels and putting it back into the bones. They've all been a fantastic addition to my routine. So again, if you want to know more of the supplements that I'm taking, leave a comment below and I'll definitely get back to you on that. So the fifth thing that I continue to do to improve my blood pressure, to get moving with smarter workouts. Back in the day, I used to be in the gym for an hour, hour and a half, and only come to the realization now that you don't need to do that type of activity to get the results we're looking for. Nowadays, I'm doing a 15 to 20 minute HIIT workout, and I'm doing about 20 to 30 minutes of weights as well. And again, I can't stress enough, people want to forego the exercise aspect when it comes to health and maintenance, but you know what, guys, you can't forego it. You need to increase your heart rate to get the blood flowing, and it's more importantly with isometric exercises. You don't have to have the huge HIIT cardio programs, but you do need to do some isometric exercises to get the muscles moving. Number 6, post-pandemic, I was carrying some extra weight that just wouldn't budge. And I'm sure we're all have had something similar to that. But with consistent effort, I got back to maintenance weight, and I'm still tweaking my routine for even better results. So every step counts, and keep moving forward, never stop and never look back. So with number 7 is keeping alcohol to a minimum. And in my case, I've never been a big drinker. My body's not a fan of it next morning vibes. So when I'm out, I typically stick with soda water and lime juice or something refreshing and alcohol free. Sure, I know many of us have those nights or weekends, and fair enough, but it's just something that you want to keep in tabs, keep your alcohol to a minimal as best you can, and go from there. So number 8, because I'm not a smoker, that wasn't an issue for me, so I skipped the smoking struggle. But if you are battling this habit, take it slow. Small steps toward quitting can be a big difference for your blood pressure. I highly recommend that. The next one is a big one for me, and I'm still working on this, was working to get better sleep. Back in the day, in my 20s and 30s, and even into my early 40s, I used to sleep like a rock. Anywhere, anytime, through anything. But lately, I've been waking up in the middle of the night and staying up way too late. So I'm trying to slowly fix this by setting a consistent bedtime and cutting out iPhone screens or TV screens before bed. Again, it's a work in progress, but it's been helping me immensely. What I find when I get a good night's sleep, oh my God, it makes a world of a difference. And it makes a world of a difference on your heart and the healing of your heart and your arteries. Number 10, and this is still a work in progress for many people, including myself, is tackling stress, sort of. So managing stress, easier said than done, right? Well, I'm still trying to figure this out, but I've been trying. Breathing techniques are huge. Yoga is very important. Just even stretching if you have the opportunity to be out on your own, go through walks, go for walks in the park, that deep breathing to keep my cool. Again, it's been a process, but it's one day at a time. But that does have a huge impact on your blood pressure as well. As much as we don't realize it, mind has a tremendous amount to do with the body. And last but not least is that I've been leaning into my furry friends. So getting a pet, or in my case, I have adorable cats, and they have been my total stress-free busters. There's nothing like a purring feline to melt your worries and keep your blood pressure on track. So with that being said, those are the things that really have helped me to get my blood pressure from that 140/90 range, which is post-menopause, to back to normal now. For myself, I've been very fortunate because the vast majority of these changes that I had to reinforce, I was doing previously. Some of you may not be in that position, but if you are not in that position, just take 1 or 2 of the points and just slowly work on them. It will make a tremendous difference on blood pressure. And if you don't have a blood pressure issue now, as we get older, and some people that are even younger, you may be facing this. So just keep this in mind, that you always want to keep it in check. If there's anything you guys want me to talk about in another video, just by all means put it in the comment section below. My journey's not over, and I'm still learning, but I hope sharing this inspires you to take charge of your health, especially if menopause has thrown a curveball in your blood pressure. If you're dealing with high blood pressure or just curious about your numbers, start small. Check your blood pressure weekly. Talk to your doctor, talk to your practitioner, and try one of these 2 changes that feels doable, slowly through time. But remember just to keep focus on it, because it can creep up on you just like it did me. And had my mom not moved in where I was checking her blood pressure, I would have had no idea that my blood pressure was that high. All right, you've got this. Take care, have a great day, and see you in the next video.